Hello, internet people. Welcome to another episode of the Creative Differences podcast. I'm Dallas, aka Black Man Beyond, and I just want to let Warner Brothers know that if y'all need a writer for the Static movie, holla at your boy.
Hi, my name's Gabby, and I'm here.
You are here.
Jesus, that's usually my line. Anyway, I'm Colin, and yeah, DC did some stuff. I watched one panel that isn't on the list of things we're going to talk about. It's going to be a fun time.
That's Colin. That's very Colin energy.
Oh yeah, that's big Colin energy.
BCE.
Yep,
Let's not do that.
BCE.
That just feels kind of. Anyway,
And I'm Vengeance. No, I'm Demi. And today we are going to be doing an awesome recap of the DC FanDome, which just happened this past weekend.
to be honest, though, if any of us were going to pull off that like smoky eyeliner, I'm really depressed look, it would
It's
be
definitely Demi. Yeah.
100%.
Thank you. I
You can be
appreciate
Vengeance.
that.
Yeah.
Like your wardrobe is already kind of halfway there.
Oh yeah, you know that episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where they go to that convention and then Rosa's like, I'm not dressing up, and they're like, you accidentally dressed up like every like steampunk woman ever.
Mhm.
All you
Yeah,
need
yeah,
is the glasses. That's you, Demi.
Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. And definitely, that's what I strive for in life. All of my favorite characters rock that aesthetic.
It's true. When I saw you in sweatpants, I was like, no.
Today, guys, we are going to be doing a recap of the DC FanDome, which had a bunch of news, a bunch of information for those of us who love DC. It was actually really awesome. For something that was put together so last minute, it was really well done.
I enjoyed it
was
so
a
much
little corny,
more than I
but
expected.
like I'm impressed at how they got everything together.
Yeah, I for sure was in my head. I was like, I'm going to watch the movie panels and like whatever other panels like interest me, and then that's it. I'll be done. I'll watch some TV in the middle of them. But no, I ended up watching like the entire 8 hours.
The whole time.
Holy
I watched the whole thing. For those of you guys who don't know what DC FanDome is, it was basically a virtual DC Comic Con that they put on the internet that gave new information for what's coming up in the DC universe, whether it be for their movies, for their comic books, for the TV shows. And there's going to be a part 2 that is put on. I think it's called DC FanDome Enter the Multiverse or something like that. And it's going to be on September 12th.
Nice.
But this is the first part.
Makes me wonder though if, like, obviously they did this because they kind of had to, but I wonder if this could lead to like this being the norm and them not doing as much at Comic-Con if they can do their own thing.
I mean, it doesn't. I feel like this doesn't beat the exclusivity and the energy of being in a live crowd, though.
Honestly, I feel like if they did it live, like if they had their own like in-person convention, like if DC FanDome was an actual con,
So like what D23 does.
Yeah.
I would 100% go to this after this year. Like if I could do this in person, I would 100% do it.
Oh, for sure. All right, guys. So the first panel on our list is for the movie that's supposed to be coming out the soonest, but was also already supposed to be out, Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh yeah.
I guess the way that we're going to do this is that I'm going to read off all the notes that I took for this 8-hour event, and then we'll discuss our reactions to the things that were released or said or whatever. Or you guys can interrupt me and we can have conversations about things that I'm saying. I don't care.
Just do that.
Float your boat.
Either way.
Yeah. So the panel members were Gal Gadot, obviously, Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, Pedro Pascal, and director, writer, producer Patty Jenkins. Immediately off the jump, Patty Jenkins said that she thinks that the movie is great on the big screen, and they made it purposefully to be a big visual experience. So it sounds that like they are planning to stick out this pandemic and wait until they can release it in theaters for everybody to see.
Does it have a release date right now?
It did until they released the new poster for FanDome, which no longer has a date. It just says in theaters.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was supposed to come out around my birthday, and nobody decided to stay inside, so now I don't get Wonder Woman for my birthday.
I'm so sorry.
I was so excited. But yeah, after they, talked about that, they went into the fan questions. Somebody asked about the wardrobe in the movie since it's going from World War I and taking place in the 1980s. So they talked about Diana's wardrobe, which is grounded but elegant. Patty and Kristen, when they were discussing the costumes or the wardrobe for Cheetah, they talked about like they were remembering what they used to wear in the 80s, what was popular. Pedro Pascal was shown power suits from the 80s by the costume designer and got really concerned apparently by their look.
Okay.
Until he saw the suits that they were going to have him wear, and then he felt like he was really confident in them and how cartoony they kind of looked, but they still looked cool. They showed they showed some behind the scene footage while they talked about all the fun that they had on set. Patty Jenkins talked about how sometimes she would be working and then she would look over and like Gal and Kristen were like dancing around and goofing off, and like the cast would goof off, and she felt like the kid who had to stay after school while everybody else was going off to the mall.
Aww. Patty.
Chris was asked about basically the role reversal that kind of happens in this movie, about how he's kind of the fish out of water this time instead of Wonder Woman being the fish out of water, since now he's in the 80s instead of being in like
the 40s
19
or 1920s.
Yeah. He said that he really had to open himself up and remind himself not to play it as cool this time around, since
Makes
he's the
sense.
fish out of water. And then their final fan question, quote unquote, was from Linda Carter, the original Wonder Woman.
Aww.
Nice.
Patty Jenkins said that they think of her often while they're working on the movie. Obviously, Kristen Wiig fangirled out because she was a fan of the original series growing up. Linda praised Patty Jenkins and says that her daughter finally understood why people idolize her and Wonder Woman when she saw Gal Gadot in the Wonder Woman costume for the first time. And Patty says that they're taking the torch from the OG series and they're just passing it forward. And Gal thanked Linda for her guidance.
Nice.
And then after having that cute little moments, they shared the second official trailer of the film, which we can talk about.
Yeah.
Reactions.
Yes. Cheetah's there now. In the
Yeah.
Yiffiness.
Oh God.
Oh God.
It's a choice.
So Colin implied there were not enough furries working on the movie. So
that is what I said.
what are your Gabby, what are your thoughts on that?
What?
What are your thoughts on the
Oh yes.
on that?
Early. I'm so
I
proud
don't
of you.
really know why I would have thoughts, but I'd rather hear what Colin has to say. Like, what do you mean, Colin? There's not enough furries working on this movie.
Not even 10 minutes in, Dallas.
I'm so proud of him. He's so good. God, I missed it.
I hate all of you.
Okay, time out. Gabby, I have a question. Gabby?
Colin, can you like?
Dallas has a question. I don't want to
I
talk
have a
over
question,
him.
Gabby. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colin.
No,
Gabby, why do
can we just like
Gabby,
not do
why-
this today?
Gabby, why do you think Colin is more equipped to discuss that than you are?
Well, because he brought it up, so he said there weren't enough furries on
That's
this,
fair.
and I don't really know that much about furry culture. So,
You don't?
yeah, I know. Why would I? Anyway, Colin.
She's getting better at this.
She's getting way better.
The
Colin.
defense is improving.
See, what you need to do is you need to not bring it up a few times so she's not so used to it, and then bam,
Right.
hit
And then bam.
Yif
All
yif.
right.
Anyway, basically it was just a way of saying I don't think she looks very good. She looks like a character from Cats, and I did not like the way the characters from Cats look.
Damn it, you're a little bit right, but also I don't know. It kind of looks fine to me. But
I mean,
Yeah, she looks like a cheetah, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to see it if we ever see her in daytime, which I don't think we will, because every shot we got of her was at night, and I feel like that was intentional. But like,
my problem is with her like regular people clothes or like her superhero costume when she's Cheetah.
see, I like
Versus-
that. When
I
she's like in
didn't.
the
I was like,
museum
what
and she's
is
got like
going
that sort of
on?
weird punk look thing. I like
Yeah.
that. a
She has
lot.
like the cheetah
I
print
didn't-
thing going on.
I didn't like that. I was like, ooh, no.
It's so 80s though.
Yeah, is it? I don't know. It didn't feel
Yeah.
like. It just felt like I don't know.
I kind of liked it because like they're the versions of Cheetah when she's not like, all catted out. She'll have like, some kind of cheetah print or something to like accent like, hey, I'm Cheetah. But like Colin said, I do want to see, just a shot of her with some lighting, not like running up a wall, just to see what she actually looks like. Because right now it's just like kind of a furry blur.
Yeah, it was more of a blur.
Yeah, I was going to say that I'm excited that they decided to show what Cheetah looks like I'm glad that we got the opportunity to see it because I thought they were really going to save it until the movie comes out, but I guess they were like, "Oh, we don't know when that is." So, so they decided to show. I think the CGI is a little wonky, but also I try not to judge CGI in trailers too hard because
Yeah.
they got time to fix it.
Yeah.
They got an indefinite amount of time to fix
Yeah,
it
they
if they
have
wanted
all
And
the
to.
time in the
especially
world.
with everything going on right now, like you got to be a little more forgiving of that because like everything's out of whack. So it'd
Yeah,
be
I mean, but the movie
But
was already
also,
supposed to be out though. That's the thing.
but
Mm,
also, like whatever iteration, like the people that edit the trailers together, they get like an uncut. Like sometimes they don't even get the final cut in the movie, so stuff that they include in the trailer might not even make it in the final cut of the film. So
Yeah,
like we can't really. It's a little bit too soon to maybe judge that CGI. I think.
yeah, like it's hard to tell if it's like fully rendered or not. And if it's not, then that's not what it's going to look like on the screen. It definitely looked better on my TV than it did on my computer screen, though. I will say that.
All right.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
but I did, outside of just Cheetah, which I think was probably the biggest thing about that trailer, because I didn't really need a trailer. Like I was like, I'm excited for this movie anyway because the first one was so good
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
that I didn't need more content from a trailer. But it was cool seeing more of Steve Trevor being a fish out of water in the '80s. Seeing Diana kind of acclimated to the world around her. I think we got way more Max Lord than we've gotten at all since promotion started.
I think he gave a speech in the first trailer, like he was on a TV screen, but that's
Yeah,
about
he
it.
did one of those
Yeah.
promotional things.
Yeah, but and then the one thing I am interested in though, I think the movie is supposed to have Diana and Cheetah go from friends to enemies. This trailer only had the enemy portion. So I am curious about what's going to happen before all that happens.
But she also
Yeah.
has that line where she says, "Barbara, what did you do?" And
Yeah,
it reminds me of in the old Batman cartoons when Two-Face shows up and he's like, "Oh, Harvey, like you were my boy, and now I have to
And
beat
now I
your
got to
ass."
go after you. Yeah.
Yeah, so like,
I have to come for you.
yeah, there's still those notions of like we were friends.
Okay, so Harvey Dent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be insensitive to make an "ooh, and now I gotta flame your boy" joke?
No.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one. But yeah, this trailer didn't do anything to like change my excitement for this movie. I was already excited for it from the moment that they announced that they were making a second one. It's not going to change.
I'm just ready for Steve Trevor to be my favorite part again because those
The freaking
lines
what
he
does
has-
everybody wear
What? It's the parachute
parachute
pants?
now?
Does everyone parachute now? Like, I'm so happy to see him be the fish out of water. Because also, one of my things about the previous Wonder Woman, and it's not their fault because this is the first, theatrical DCEU live action big screen. I've just, as someone who reads and watches DC stuff animated so much, I've seen Diana be a fish out of water enough that I'm glad that this time around it's going to be Steve instead of her.
Okay, I feel
Because
you.
we always get the Diana's a fish out of water story, like Justice League, the animated movies, certain comic books. Like whenever they start the story over, it's watching Diana learn about society. It's kind of like watching Uncle Ben die. It's like
Yeah.
we've seen
Or
that.
Bruce
seen
Wayne's
it.
parents in this case.
Exactly. Watching Bruce Wayne's parents die, which we'll get to that later.
We get to see it again.
No, we might not. So let's move on to the next thing, though. The next panel that they had was the beginning of basically their WB Games stuff. Zachary Levi revealed the first footage for Gotham Knights that reveals quite a bit. I love that trailer.
was
But it
dope.
reveals
So dope.
that Bruce Wayne has died, triggering a message sent to Jason, Barbara, Dick, and I am very certain Tim.
It is
Yeah,
Tim.
for
They
sure it's Tim.
confirmed it somewhere, and I'm not sure where.
I'm
But
very certain it's Tim. He entrusts them to keep Gotham safe. There's some really cool shots of them teaming up, and the Court of Owls seems to be the villain of the game.
It looks so cool.
It looks dope. The game is releasing in 2021. Creative director Patrick Redding and senior producer Fleur Marty wanted to explore what it would be like without Batman. You're not trying to be Batman, you're trying to be your own hero, which, perfect segue. You get to grow the characters as you see fit. And then they revealed some gameplay footage, which was dope. It was Batgirl going after Mr. Freeze, and she teams up with Robin. There were some appearances from Alfred and Renee Montoya. The four main characters are all playable, so you can play as Nightwing, you can play as Batgirl, you can play as Red Hood, you can play as Robin, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, I love that.
there is a living, breathing Gotham that continues to challenge the player. And like what also drives the game is this fantasy of being a superhero with great team ups. And there's a 1 to 2 player co-op
Yep.
on here as well.
That's the weird one for me. Why would you
Co-op?
make a game with 4 playable characters and not make it 4-player online?
I wish that it was 4-player co-op. It would be so dope, but I'm cool with
be.
2.
I'm cool with it. It's just like from a like a meta perspective, it's like, what are the other 2 doing while you're doing
Yeah.
that? Like,
Well, I think they would just be like computer NPCs, wouldn't they? And they're just helping you along.
I don't know, because the gameplay footage only showed 2 at a time. The other 2 didn't show up. So I just wonder, like, are they just sitting in the belfry like, yep, call us when you need us?
No, Red Hood was out lighting people up in the street.
Oh, fun. But they also promise that the mystery is way bigger than just the Court of Owls, which
Sounds dope.
That's dope. Patrick Redding in a later panel said that they wanted to take away the safety net that is Batman, which is why they decided to kill him off and let gamers see how they personally would protect Gotham.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but the gameplay footage that you watch on YouTube, because they didn't state this while you were watching the panel. If you watch the YouTube video, though, the gameplay footage reveals that the villains will grow as you do. So if you're fighting Mr. Freeze at level 5, it's going to be different than if you were fighting him at level 15.
Yeah,
That's
he's
cool.
gonna like learn. Yeah, it's really cool. I enjoy that. It's not gonna be repetitive because you come back, he'll learn some new things. And I think this game is interesting in particular because people like Colin don't really enjoy Batman as a character, but they enjoy his supporting cast. So now you can actually get the Bat family. And
Yeah,
not
that's
just Bruce.
actually super exciting to me. Because like we have a lot of Batman games, but
Yes,
like
we
there's
do.
not a lot of games where I can play as Batgirl or I can play as Nightwing or like. I was surprised to see Jason Todd at the beginning of the trailer. I was like, he usually gets like the short end of the stick when it comes to media, but like you could play as
Yeah.
Jason Todd.
Short
Like,
end
that
of
I
would
was
be dope.
so ready.
Huh?
I'm sorry, the short end of the crowbar.
There we go.
Oh, guys, that's a low blow, man.
I mean, it probably was. I think he was on the ground when
Oh!
Joker was beating his ass. But whatever. Anyway.
Wow, Colin's on fire today.
He is, bro.
Like Harvey Dent.
Oh,
man. It's just still going.
Oh, I wish I could high five you.
Anyway, yes, I was very excited to see Red Hood just capping people in that trailer because I can't wait. It's funny because that's one of the things that excites me the most is when you play a game and your character like Red Hood, you have guns, you shoot people. I kind of miss just, throwing hands, which I think playing Nightwing is going to be super dope to just like whoop on people with my hands. But then when I want to just blast them, I can switch back to Red Hood. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be super dope. Like I saw the trailer and like I said, I was only planning to watch the movie once, but they started this one immediately after the Wonder Woman one. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And I saw the trailer and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to have this game.
Yes, I
Did
definitely
they say what platforms it's for? I don't think they did.
I looked it up and I think it's going to be for the Xbox, PS5, PS4, and PC. And I think there was another one in there, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay,
because
so
I know in the trailer thing, they didn't show the platforms at the end.
Yeah.
Which I thought was confusing. Or not confusing, just like, I hope they give it to me on PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly.
Also showed it to my niece, who is 9 years old and knows nothing about any of these characters. And she was like, this looks so cool, we have to get it.
Right? Like, it looks so fun.
I was like, good, it passed the 9-year-old child test.
Is that a test that it needed to pass?
I mean...
No, but it's always great when it does.
Exactly. It's not necessary, but it's a nice bonus. I was going to buy the game anyway.
Like, it's like when I watch Star Wars movies and I have a certain opinion of it, but if I ask like Devin what his opinion is, if he loves it, then I'm like, that's great.
Okay,
exactly.
I get you.
But also the ending of that trailer got super creepy.
Yes, with the Court of Owls.
Yeah, like the little girl voice doing that weird like Nightmare on Elm Street rhyme with the Court of Owls and their eyes wide shut mask. I was like, oh, okay, this game is gonna get pretty creepy. But I'm ready for it.
It looks so great.
Intense.
And then the next video game that they announced like hours later, like 6 hours or so later, there was the trailer for the new Suicide Squad game, which is releasing in 2022. The trailer gives us some insight into the team dynamic, starting off with them hanging out on a roof and completely ignoring Amanda Waller's calls.
I love it.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, there's a cool team fight scene with Harley Quinn, which Dallas noted is being played by Tara Strong.
Yes,
Yeah,
my
that
favorite.
messed me up because her, because I think she was Tara Strong, or she was Harley in the Arkham games. Yeah,
Yeah, that's correct.
this is a completely different voice, and I don't like it.
Does it sound that different to you?
Oh, completely different. Like I heard the voice, and I was like, I don't know who. I can't figure out who this is. And then I
That's
saw
weird,
it in the
'cause-
notes that it was Tara Strong, and I was like, that doesn't sound like her Harley Quinn at all.
I was watching it with my cousin, and like we're both the biggest Tara Strong fans ever. And she started talking, and he was like, "Oh, they got Tara Strong back," and I was like, "That's right, they did." I don't know, maybe there's like subtle differences here and there, but I definitely recognize it as her. But I think that might just be because I like the actress so much that I can
That's
pick her out
probably
wherever.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the team is going to be Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and King Shark.
Dope.
And then at the end of the trailer, you have Superman who comes in and completely fries a guy with his laser vision in front of the squad, revealing that the Suicide Squad is going to be going up against the Justice League.
I
The
love
game
it.
is called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. After the trailer, Will Arnett learns about these characters from their and their mission through a phone call with them, which is interesting and super funny. And then after that, he talked to Sefton Hill, who is one of the creators of the game, and they talked about how Rocksteady usually goes for character-driven games, and the Suicide Squad spoke to them specifically because of how flawed these characters are. The interactions between the villains was really energized, and they wanted to put the characters in a very dynamic and difficult situation, which is why they're going after the Justice League.
Oh, interesting.
That makes sense.
I mean, yeah, that sounds really, really hard.
The most difficult situation you can do in a DC universe.
But yeah, they've got like some richness that they've added to the character move sets, and then they've added, some gunplay to them as well. The game is full of fighting opportunities and possibilities. It's a 1 to 4 player co-op. You can play as any member of the squad. The whole game is accessible for single or multiplayer, and you can switch between characters in single player.
That's cool.
Dallas seems to be very excited that they used B.O.B. by Outkast in the action scene. But to be fair, so was I. When I heard it, I was like, yeah!
I was so high because, like, it's funny. My favorite trailers from DC FanDome are the video game trailers, but I think this is actually my favorite one just because it is so like everything I want Suicide Squad to be. Like their dynamic on the roof, the way they're talking to each other, the action scene, showing all of their different fighting styles. Like when Harley's swinging and shooting on the grappling hook thing, I was like, that's amazing.
I
And then
loved her throwing up the grenade and hitting it like a baseball bat. Or
Yeah.
hitting it like a baseball.
And then you cap it off with like Bombs Over Baghdad playing, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I'm buying this game. But I was also confused because Captain Boomerang is running around at super speed. And to me, you said that is Digger
It
Harkness?
is George Harkness, yeah.
Okay.
They have
But I was-
during the phone call thing, they had all of their mugshots up so you could see their names and stuff.
Okay, good. I didn't see that part. I think I left before it. But yeah, because I guess in the comics, he has a son who has super speed and takes over as Captain Boomerang when he dies. And I guess they were just like, we'll just give him his son's power. Because I was like,
I
why
mean,
is he
yeah.
running like that? Is he teleporting? I was like, no, he's running super speed. I was like, that's... And Kayla was like, well, he's a Flash villain, so it'd help to have super speed.
That's true.
But yeah, they're like dynamic on the roof was so great. And the way that they use things that we've seen about these characters 100 times, but in a way, like when Deadshot says he never misses, and the whole team
they
is
all
like,
mock
we
him.
know you never miss. You said it 100 times.
It's like, we know. Get a new catchphrase.
Right. And it's so like the reveal of Superman, because I figured, Superman is probably gone bad if Amanda Waller is going to send them after him. But just to see them watch him fry that guy and then the fear in all their faces, and somehow Boomerang wasn't paying attention.
Oh my
So
gosh,
he was
yeah.
like, okay, who are we supposed to kill? And they all point at Superman and he just looks up. He's like, oh, fuck. And then it just cuts the trailer off.
It's so good. It's such a good trailer. I
It's
do
amazing.
love that Superman reveal though, because Harley is straight up just like, no, get out of here. We're on this mission. You're not
Right.
supposed to be here. This is our job. And then they realize, oh crap.
And King
Wait a
Shark is like
minute.
fanboying, like, oh my God, it's the mighty Superman. He saved that pilot.
Yeah, then it's just like, oh no, we have to fight him. This is going to be a problem.
What's also interesting that people I don't think are mentioning a lot is that it looks like Brainiac has something to do with this. Because the first shot we see is that like purple glowy face thing.
All those people are glowing purple.
Yeah, so I think what's probably happening is Brainiac is taking over everybody because it has like a purple glow and they have these little 3 dots and then Superman's eyes are purple instead
Yeah,
of
they
red.
are.
I was like, oh boy, we're getting a Brainiac story. But it's worth it because this game looks dope, and I'm so upset that I have to wait for 2 years.
2022. All right. So a little while after the Gotham Knights reveal, there was a panel for introducing Flash, with the panel members being Ezra Miller, Andy and Barbara Muschetti, and Christina Hodson, who's the writer of the movie. So earlier, before even the introducing Flash panel, there was a panel that was just about the multiverse and introducing people to the multiverse and how that's working within the DC universe now. Walter Hamada, who is the director of DC Films, says that the DCEU Flash, aka Ezra Miller's Flash, gets his name from CW DC TV The Flash earlier in that panel.
Interesting. So
what
he
does
talks to
that
Barry.
sentence mean?
So it means there was during the Crisis crossover that happened on the CW, Ezra Miller's Flash showed up on their crossover, and he met CW's Flash.
I remember that.
In Justice League, they never give him the name The Flash. So when he meets CW Barry Allen's like, no, it's not possible. Like, I'm the Flash. You can't also be the Flash, or something like that. And Ezra Miller's Flash goes, the Flash? And then
Yeah.
he has this look on his face like, oh, that's a good name.
Like, that's dope. I'm taking that.
Oh, okay.
So now Ezra Miller's Flash has now officially been named The Flash by CW Barry Allen Flash.
That's
I love it.
wild. That's really wild.
Which is how they're bringing in the multiverse thing. And apparently this was a thing that they shot like a week or two before the actual episode aired. And
Wow.
it wasn't Greg Berlanti who went to DC Films. It was Walter Hamada who was like, no, can you guys possibly get Ezra Miller into one of your episodes? Can you make that possible? We really want to do this crossover multiverse thing.
That's awesome.
So that is the beginning of our multiverse, which is what this film is also supposed to be. This movie is going to be the introduction of the multiverse to the movie franchise.
I'm so excited.
Andy says it's a challenge making this film, and the most important thing to him is getting to the audience's heart. Barbara Muschetti says it's very much Andy's tone. Christina Hodson commented that his ability to go from funny and scary, and also the Easter eggs in the It movies also kind of just play into like that tone that he's got and why he's perfect for the role. Andy says that the time travel portion is really exciting to him, and Ezra said it's really easy to understand why Andy is the perfect man for the job when you meet him. Christina Hodson says that she's really excited to see Andy's version of the Speed Force because she's seen apparently his concept drawings of what it's going to look like on the film. And she also said that she fell in love with the Flash after reading Flashpoint. For those of you guys who don't know who Christina Hodson is, she is the writer of Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, as well as Bumblebee.
Yes.
And she is also writing The Flash. Barbara said that she was impressed by Christina's first draft, and Andy says that she really captured the spirit of the character, which makes me excited because I am a big fan of Christina Hodson's work. They also shared some concept art of Barry Allen's new suit, which is going to be made by Bruce Wayne, and it is dope.
I love it. I love it so
Very
much
nice.
more than that Justice League suit because I did not like that one at all.
I did not like the Justice League suit. I remember being so upset because I saw the Justice League suit and I was like, he's a runner wearing armor. That's not at all conducive to what his superpower is.
Like,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
yeah, it's like I get it from the standpoint of like he probably is putting together whatever he could, but this is why I also like him having ties to the richest dude in the freaking world because he's like, I can just make you a suit that actually works for you, and it looks so dope.
Yeah, and it's not even like a full like lit image, but you can see that it's like skin tight. Like it's supposed to be like what a runner wears.
Yeah, and you can see the energy lines kind of like in the comics have now. It's dope.
And he's got the wings and ear things, and
Oh yeah.
I'm so hyped. And then there was another concept art piece of him with Batman. I'm assuming it's Ben Affleck's Batman.
Yes, because they keep talking
And
about
not
him being in the
Michael Keaton Batman.
movie. I guess we'll see.
We'll find out. That's also a really cool image, though. I really love the way that the lightning comes off of him,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks
and
so
I love
dope.
the colors that are popping off of this Speed Force, bro.
It looks so dope.
Like the concept
Um,
art is great.
I'm so excited. I think at this point I'm convinced the movie's actually happening, so I can be excited about it now.
Yo, this we got upgraded, and it's a good upgrade.
We did. And I love the multiverse because it's just there are so many stories to tell. And when you have to try to work everything into one narrative, it's just so limiting. So when they're going to be like, oh, yeah, basically we can do whatever we want and just say it's in another universe. I'm like, good. Do everything. Do every story. Have every writer come in that, proves themselves or whatever.
I also like that as a concept because it means that, like, the MCU, if you miss one movie, you're gonna miss something that ties into everything else. And it's like, I kind of like the idea of the multiverse because it's like, you know what? Maybe this movie I don't care about, so I don't really see it. But this other one is a cool story. I'll see that one. And I don't need to see anything else. Like, I like that idea.
I mean,
Yeah.
Marvel's also bringing in their multiverse, but that's a conversation for a different podcast because this is about
True.
DC. But yeah, from their not this panel, not introducing Flash, but from their multiverse panel, which was a really interesting panel. Yeah, it definitely sounds like at this point they're like, if somebody comes at us with a good story idea and it doesn't fit they literally said if it doesn't fit our main timeline, then it just doesn't belong on this planet. It doesn't belong on this Earth. It is a different Earth and it'll be in a different universe, and that's fine. Kind of like the Joker, they said that the Batman will be on its own Earth as well. All these things will just take place in different places. Doom Patrol, all these things are their own universe. And instead of being like, well, that doesn't exist in this universe, well, no, now it all exists. It's just
Right.
none of it is discounted. It all exists. It's all in different places.
Which is also so good because the amount of confusion that came before they clarified all this,
Oh my gosh.
just with the Batman alone, was like, well, is this a prequel? Is he playing a young version of Ben Affleck? Why is Gordon black now? What's happening?
Yeah, we'll get to that later as
And
well.
honestly, it just makes things so much easier. Like, Sony could use this because they have freaking Michael Keaton playing a mystery nurse or whatever he is in Morbius, and we're still confused about it. Like, bro, just say it's a multiverse and get it over with. But, that's a conversation for another time.
I mean, maybe that's what they'll do when they finally release Doctor Strange.
We'll see.
Anyway, the next movie panel that came up was, also Ezra Miller was giving a lot of really funny fun facts throughout the entirety of the Flash panel.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
It was adorable. But the next movie panel that came up was The Suicide Squad, emphasis on the.
Yes.
There were a whole bunch of panel members, which I will mention later. The first and most important one, though, is James Gunn, who is the director and writer of The Suicide Squad. He said it's the most fun he's ever had making a film.
And then everyone in Guardians of the Galaxy shed a single tear.
Exactly.
Except for Yondu, because Yondu's in this one too.
Yes.
But he took some fan questions. There were a lot of fan questions for a lot of these panels. So somebody asked him his favorite Suicide Squad character, and when he started reading the comics, he said that he loves Amanda Waller and he thinks that she's really cool. And he read the initial Suicide Squad run by John Ostrander.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he was reading Suicide Squad comics basically when they started. He's probably
what
the
a
right
nerd.
guy for the job. Right, what a nerd. Also, that makes me really excited though to see how he's going to write Amanda Waller, because he sounded like he really, really loves Amanda Waller, and Viola Davis as Amanda Waller is one of my favorite pieces of casting.
Yes,
so
she's great.
Excellent work.
I'm so excited to see what he does with her. He said he was most excited to write for Harley Quinn.
Of course.
Yeah, she's fun.
We'll see how that goes.
Her costume looks pretty dope.
Oh, we'll get to that too. But he said that he talked to John Ostrander, and he said that he told Ostrander that he sees the film as a sequel to his comics, not an adaptation. But he also enjoyed grabbing villains from other places in the DC universe. And somebody asked him who his favorite DC villain is or was, and this character is not in the movie. But he said that he considered putting the character in the movie, but his favorite villain was Batmite because he was hilarious and creepy.
That's so ridiculous.
Batmite?
It's hard to explain. He's like this tiny cartoony version of Batman, but he has powers to warp reality.
Oh.
So he can pretty much just make whatever he wants happen. And he's like really obsessed with Batman, and he basically just causes a headache for him. Superman has a similar character named, I'll just say Mixie. His full name is Mixia Spitlick, but nobody wants to say all that.
Mixelpixel or something like that. Mr. Mixelpixel.
Yes. Mix of pickles.
If you happen to have a stroke while you're saying the name, it's not worth
Yeah.
it.
His
I
name
used to be able to say it.
I know I had to say it only because they said it in the Superman animated series. He breaks it. Gilbert Gottfried breaks it down. It's mix, yes, spit, lick. Yeah. But anyway, he has similar powers to that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad he's not in the movie because that would just be a headache for everybody.
I have a note here that says, "Why is Jake from State Farm here?"
I was so confused.
He shows up throughout the rest of the FanDome thing too.
Yeah, he does. He just keeps popping up in panels, like asking questions. And I'm
So
like,
I'm assuming
guy that
State Farm is a sponsorship.
Oh, just the guy that plays Jake from State Farm?
Yeah.
no,
he was
actually,
asking-
Jake
No,
from State Farm.
Oh
Jake
my
from
Okay.
State Farm.
He's wearing the khakis.
Oh my
And the red
god!
shirt.
Why is
He
he?
says, "Hey, Jake from State Farm here. I wanted to ask." It's great.
And I was watching it and taking notes, and I wrote down that note and was hoping, Dallas, that you were still in the notes and could read the question. And then you wrote the same question in the group chat, and I was like, okay, great. Oh, then. But so not just fan questions were answered. We also got a roll call of all the characters who are, well, not all of them, but all the Suicide Squad members who are going to be in this movie. This is a long list. Please prepare
many.
yourself. It was such a long list. I couldn't keep up with all the characters that were popping up on the screen. I had to go back and rewatch the video, which is on YouTube, so that I could get all the names. Michael Rooker as Savant, Flula Borg as Javelin, David Dashmalshin as Polka Dot Man, and congratulations, sir, on your 4th comic book movie.
Nice.
He's up there with Chris Evans.
What?
She said he's up there with Chris Evans.
Oh, yeah, he's up there. Daniela Melchior as Ratcatcher 2, emphasis on the 2. He kept emphasizing that it's 2. Idris Elba as Bloodsport. Peter Capaldi as the Thinker, which I'm super excited about because I really liked the Thinker character on The Flash. Pete Davidson as Blackguard. John Cena as Peacemaker. Nathan Fillion as TDK. Mei Ling Ing as Mongol. Sean Gunn as Weasel. Alicia Braga as Solsoria. Juan Diego Boto as Luna, and Steve Agee as King Shark, which I have my theories on that. And of course, the return of Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, Joel Kinnaman as Colonel Rick Flag, Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang, and of course, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. You noted the song on here, Dallas? Oh No by Grandson.
Yeah, I found out what that song is today because I watched that video like 3 or 4 times, and I was like,
That
I
song
should
was
just Shazam it. That song slaps. I
I'm
listened to it
so
like 4
excited
times
for
today.
Pete Davidson, even though I have some idea that he's gonna die.
Oh, I'm
I
sure
honestly
most of these people are going to die.
Murked.
I either didn't know or I forgot that he was in this movie. So when I was watching the panel, I was like, Pete Davidson, he's in the Suicide Squad.
But also, Idris Elba confirmed that Storm Reed plays Tyla, Bloodsport's daughter, and Gunn praises her work in the film. We also got confirmation on Joaquin Cosio as General Mateo Suarez and Jennifer Holland as Amelia Harcourt. So that is this entirely stacked and large cast for this movie.
I want to know if there's anyone out there that predicted who Idris was playing correctly.
James Gunn said no. The day before the panel, he said nobody has guessed who Idris Elba is playing.
I was so confused. I was like, who? Everyone's like, they're like, oh, he's replacing Will Smith as Deadshot. No, he's not Deadshot. Okay, maybe he's playing Bronze Tiger or Black Spider. And he's not any of those. He's Bloodsport. I was like, who the hell is Bloodsport? He looks dope, though.
So I also had a theory about King Shark because Steve Agee is playing King Shark. I think it's just for the body, though, because Taika Waititi is also in this film.
That's true. They didn't
So
say
I'm
who he
thinking
is.
Taika might be doing the King Shark voice.
Yes.
That'd be amazing.
Hey, man.
Because also, if you watch the roll call video, they bring King Shark up, but they don't have a cast member for it.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Yeah,
to me.
because then
Paying
they-
attention, sharp
They
senses.
list all the names and they list Taika, but they didn't put him as one of the characters.
Nope. So I think he might be doing the voice for King Shark.
That would be dope. But I want him to play him exactly like
Korg, yes.
Ron Funches does in the Harley Quinn TV show, because that's my favorite King Shark. He's amazing.
But yeah, so after they introduced the entire cast, they picked teams for a trivia game, and there were so many cast members they forgot some of them, and Pete Davidson got picked last as if this was a game of dodgeball in middle school.
Oh, poor Pete.
Yeah.
The cast seems like it is a load of fun.
Yeah.
You could see that they all get along really well. Margot Robbie asked James Gunn after the game how the film was looking, and he praised all of their work and says it's dramatic where it needs to be. He's still in the middle of editing the film. Peter Capaldi, aka Doctor Who, says it was a great set to work on, and it was a very welcoming and supportive cast, and that he enjoyed his time working on the film. There was a behind the scenes featurette that was shown. The film was described as a twisted fantasy, a 1970s war movie with James Gunn's characters and comedy. Idris says it's like watching a graphic novel come to life. John Cena describes his character as a quote unquote douchey Captain America. And Joel Kinnaman warns not to get attached to anyone, which makes sense because this is the Suicide Squad and there are like 20 people in this movie.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. They wanted to really kill him off because in the last one, I think they killed what, like two people?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like,
yeah,
nah,
Diablo, I will never forgive them.
That was a rough one.
Yeah, Diablo and what was the other guy's name? The one who dies
Slipknot.
first. Yes, Slipknot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colin.
They brought him in just to die.
Which was cruel. Like, you're the first Native American superhero on screen, and you're just gonna like
I
off
mean,
him
superhero
like
is a very, very
strong term.
loose term there.
It's fair, but still,
that guy still died a villain. What are you talking about? But yeah, after his panel, James Gunn did post a FanDome poster, which is the graphic that you probably saw at the beginning of this section of the podcast.
I loved it. It's dope.
Looks amazing.
It was dope. I'm super excited. This movie immediately jumped really high on my most anticipated list for next year, if it comes out next year.
Oh man, I hope it comes out next year.
Just running with two boomerangs. Oh, Captain Boomerang's great.
Yeah, this is the role that I like Jai Courtney in, so I'm very excited to see him in it again.
I was about to say this is my favorite Jai Courtney role.
I think it's everyone's favorite Jai Courtney role. Everyone else is like, why are you shoving Jai Courtney down our throats until he was Captain Boomerang? And then we're like, yes, thank you, please.
But
Sorry,
only as Captain Boomerang.
What are they doing with him?
Shut up, Colin.
It's just, for all your, I don't like this earlier when we were saying it, when you say it, it's fine.
Yeah, because when you guys were saying it was directed at me.
Oh, man. Yeah,
well, yeah, I'm super excited.
I'm mad at all of you.
Okay.
We didn't do anything.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what James Gunn is. I mean, like, it was clear with the first Suicide Squad that they really wanted that to be their Guardians of the Galaxy film. So
they should have just hired James.
So then you get the guy who directed Guardians of the Galaxy to direct the next Suicide Squad film, and yeah, it looks great.
Yeah,
I mean, from the behind the scenes footage that we're seeing and the costume stuff that they showed us, which Harley Quinn, whew.
Yeah, she looks less like she's being super sexualized and more like she's wearing armor.
See, so here's the thing. I love what Harley wears in Birds of Prey because I feel like that's just, Harley Quinn in her casual wear, chilling, whatever. This feels like, this is what Harley Quinn wears when she's like going off on a mission or like focus on doing some actual criminal activity or superhero activity. I'm down.
Yeah, it looks like a costume, like a superhero costume.
Yeah, for me, it's like third time's the charm because I didn't really love her look in Suicide Squad or Birds of Prey. And both times I was just like, give me something. Just give me the red and black as a start. Like, give me that, and then we can work from there. And then James Gunn did it. He gave me the red and black, and it looks dope. She has the jacket. It's not just some, like, booty shorts.
Oh, I was so thankful. I was like, they didn't sexualize her. Like, legit, she just gets to wear actual clothing while still looking hot in her red and black color scheme.
Yeah, she still looks great. Like, she still looks really hot. It's just like, this is... it felt like when they were sexualizing her in the first movie, it was, like, cheap, Like somebody was like, I'm going to have fun, like, dressing her down. And this feels like, she still looks hot, but she's, it's utilitarian,
Yeah. But also there was like a hint of the red and black at the end of Birds of Prey in her final outfit. So like to see her go full red and black, I'm about it.
Yeah. Also, I have a feeling James Gunn probably had the same feelings as Dallas, where he was like, okay, this is fine, but like I want to see her in the stuff that I read her, the comics, like, because James Gunn's a comics fan.
Yeah, make her look like Harley Quinn.
She looks so dope. I'm so excited. And then the red and black dress too. You know what? It's just a lot. I'm here for all of it. Super hyped. The next panel that we have on the list is not a film panel, but it was the surprise panel, and we're going to bring it up because it's awesome. They had a panel from Milestone Media, which, if you don't know what that is, it was a comic company that basically just made comics about Black superheroes. It's where Static Shock comes from.
Yes, exactly. It's created by Dwayne McDuffie, rest in peace, Dennis Cowan, Michael Davis, and Derek T. Dingle. And they were basically like, comics are just full of white people. What if we change that? They believe that minorities were underrepresented, and they wanted to address it, and they did. And now we have Static Shock. So thank you guys.
Yay.
Yeah, so the panel members were Jim Lee, Phil Lamar, Dennis Cowan, and Reggie Hudlin. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Oh, Mark Bernardin was the host. There we go.
Yeah, he was the host. I was like, yeah.
But yeah, they went through the history of Milestone Media, how it came to be, how everybody sort of got involved, or how everybody learned about it in their different ways. And then at the end, they announced that Milestone Media is coming back. They are reviving them under the DC banner. Like, I think it says they announced the arrival in 2015, but now like it's super back now. They are planning until February. DC is going to be releasing a backlist of Milestone comics on digital outlets. There will be a new Static comic as early as the digital release in February. And on top of that, they're talking about doing a Static live action feature film. They're talking about doing an animated feature film with Milestone characters. They're looking into all sorts of media to tell stories, like podcasting. Any possible way that they can tell stories that's what they're looking into right now in all facets with these characters.
I love it so much. I was so excited, especially because this was a surprise panel. And before, FanDome started, I was going through the schedule and everything, looking at everything I wanted to see. And then I looked up and this was on, and I was like, why wasn't this on my schedule? And I realized it lined up with the surprise panel timeline. I was like, oh, this was a surprise. That's an amazing surprise. I was so happy to see Phil Lamar there because he's basically the one who introduced most of us to Static through doing the voice. And he's one of my favorite voice actors because he's done everything.
He's basically every Black character in any DC thing you've ever heard.
Exactly,
Almost.
but also sometimes he's
most of them.
Aquaman, so it's like he's got the range. But I was so happy to see him. And then when he revealed he was wearing his Static Shock shirt, I was like, this is right for me. This is my heart.
Yay.
Yeah.
But that movie, Static getting a movie, I'm telling you, Warner Brothers, you need somebody to write you. Like, I got you.
I thought it was just so funny because like a month ago, me, you, and Gabby had that movie fight, quote unquote, about what DC characters should get a movie, and yours was Static Shock, and you brought up the whole Milestone. Like, you brought up the history of Milestone.
About this.
Yeah, it was like I could have been in this panel.
You could have.
Like, I could have just put everything I said a month ago in the panel and be like, thanks for coming, Dallas. Like, cool. Let's get this Static movie going.
Yeah, so I'm excited about the idea of there being a Static Shock movie. I am not going to get too hyped up though, because like that's so far in the future at this point.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, news outlets are like, it's in development, and it's like they're legit just talking about it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they're developing a movie for Static. I'm like, they said we'd like to do a movie for Static. Basically, like, it might happen somewhere down the line, but I've learned from so many movies not to get my hopes up too early.
Or like Black Adam. How long has that been in production?
We'll talk about that in a little while.
Cyborg, freaking New Mutants.
I mean, that's supposedly still coming out in theaters in a few days.
Does me a lot of good because there are no theaters open around here.
Maybe it'll open at the drive-in.
I don't want to see that at the drive-in. You can't even see dark scenes when you're at the drive-in, and that movie's going to be completely
disappointment. Dark. Yeah. All right. So next up, what was probably the most anticipated panel overall at DC FanDome, the Snyder Cut of Justice League.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which was funny to me because immediately when it came time for it to start, I was like, oh, look, everything's in black and white, except for the hosts. So the panel member of this panel, obviously, was Zack Snyder himself. Snyder answered fan questions that were read by the league, or well, most of the league: Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, and Ray Fisher. Somebody asked him his favorite hero, and he said outside of Batman, it's Dr. Manhattan.
That makes sense.
But then there were also a lot of fan questions about the actual film itself. He says it was important to him that a lot of the League are loners when they come together and form a family. Snyder is most excited to flesh out Cyborg in his cut, and he calls him the heart of the movie and holds the team together. He also promised more Ezra Miller and the Flash and the Flash's emotional arc in the film. Somebody asked them about like themes and what they were looking into the story and stuff like that, like how they viewed the story when they were writing it. And he said that he and Chris Terrio are fans of Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, and that the Justice League are the Knights of the Round Table answering the call to adventure. Snyder praised Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot's work on Wonder Woman 1984, and Patty then asked for Snyder to hint at something audiences have never seen with no spoilers. And he says that we'll get to see something, we'll get to see the Flash do something that we've never seen before that may have something to do with time. After the fan questions, he then asked some super fans some questions about the release of the Snyder Cut movement. He then goes on to say that the Snyder Cut will be a 4-hour-long Justice League miniseries that people will be able to watch as a full movie if they want to. And they are also currently working on a global distribution plan for anybody outside of the US without HBO Max. And then after that, they showed the sneak peek. They showed a trailer for the Snyder Cut. There is some footage in there that, you know, you probably recognize from the theatrical version, but, you know, recolored to the way that Zack Snyder likes things to look. But there's also a lot of new stuff in there that really definitely shows you that this is going to be a completely different story.
There's a surprising amount of new stuff in here because I heard,
Yeah.
you know, it's a Spider Cut. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's really a little different. But this trailer could be for a completely separate movie.
Oh, it totally is.
If you told me this was a sequel to Justice League instead of like a different cut of it, I'd believe you, because the stuff they were showing, I was like, wow, none of that was. Some of it was in there, but a lot of it straight up wasn't.
Yeah, I believe Zack Snyder said they only used about 10% of what he shot for the theatrical version.
Here's my thing.
What's up?
I'm fine with the Snyder Cut existing, given the extenuating circumstances that forced him to leave the movie in the first place. That said, 4 hours, my dude. 4 hours?
But
4 hours. That is so much time.
yeah, but he said it's a mini series. He didn't call it a movie, so I'm.
It's a movie. We'll be able to watch it as a full movie.
It is a movie that he is cutting in a way that you can watch it as a miniseries. It's basically what's going on here.
I actually don't mind that because, yeah, 4 hours is way too long for a movie. But if you want to cut it up, I'll watch it. Like, just give me some time. Like, give me a break in between, and I can do a miniseries. I've seen the old It miniseries. I've seen parts of Roots. Like,
I watch miniseries on a regular basis because I
just wonder,
do that.
Stuff.
Will this work as a miniseries if it wasn't supposed to be in the first place?
I guess we'll find out when it comes out in 2021. I am excited about, I've always said this, or on Twitter at least, I am most excited about seeing Black Suit Superman, because that's what I wanted to see in the theatrical version of Justice League.
Honestly, yeah, I've wanted to see that since his little quote-unquote death in Batman v Superman.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, he's going to come back with a black suit. That sounds dope.
Yeah, no, I am here for Black Suit Superman, and I'm also here for Kiersey Clemens' Iris West.
Yes, that was the thing. Because this trailer, like, you know, aside from the toxic fandom attached to it, I like this trailer. And I actually do want to see this mini series. I didn't want to see it when it was just a 4-hour movie. But you want to break it up for me? I'll watch it in pieces. Because I definitely want to see Iris. I definitely want to see Barry do more with this goofy little run that he does.
Yeah, they introduced the Steppenwolf, the new Steppenwolf design, or I guess what we should say is the original Steppenwolf design for the movie.
It does look better.
We get to see a little bit of Darkseid. We see Cyborg's dad being disintegrated by the mother box.
That one bothered me.
That one's new.
Why would you put that in your trailer?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's in there to be like, this is a completely different film, but like at the same time,
this
I'm like,
movie's for grown-ups.
Oh God. Oh no, we don't need to talk about that tweet.
Okay, fine, we'll ignore
At
that.
least not on the podcast.
Okay, fair. Cyborg's dad isn't like Bruce Wayne's parents. He isn't like Uncle Ben. We don't need to kill him in the trailer. It isn't like, oh, we watched a Cyborg movie, his dad's gonna die. So why would you reveal that in the trailer?
I am curious as to whether or not that's like a red herring, though.
Like he's not actually dead.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this whole thing, Zack Snyder talks a lot about how this film is supposed to be very like his entire series is supposed to be like very epic, like mythological, almost like Greek myth status
Okay.
superheroes. Okay, and part of me is just like, remember, we also have in Batman versus Superman. There's that time thing that we did with the Flash that we've never really finished out. We never
Right.
actually closed that storyline. We had Batman with his nightmare dream. What if
Yeah.
this is a similar situation? What if this isn't actually going to happen in the film? Like it's going to be in the film, obviously. What if it's a dream sequence, or what if it's a time thing, or I don't know. Maybe they are actually going to kill off Cyborg's dad. I'm not quite certain, but
Yeah,
it could be anything.
If you're gonna put it in a trailer, it's probably a red herring. Like, let's be
You would
honest.
hope.
It better be.
Yeah.
I was not feeling the song they had on this trailer though.
Dude, that's the worst version of that song.
Took me out.
Like, I'm sorry, Leonard Cohen. I know you wrote the song, but it's literally the worst version of the song. Like, there's so many other better versions of that song. And he's already used it before. He used it in Watchmen.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Yeah. But like the trailer, the thing about Zack Snyder is I'm never concerned about how Zack Snyder's movies are going to look. Like I was watching this trailer and I'm like, yeah, I know it looks good.
Yeah.
What I'm concerned about is, am I going to enjoy the story? Am I going to enjoy the adventure that you're taking me on? Because I personally, I didn't like Batman versus Superman, and I think Man of Steel is average.
Same.
Yeah, I haven't seen Man of Steel, but Batman versus Superman had so much potential, and it just got confuddled in madness.
So I'm hoping that I like this, because I have liked other Zack Snyder films.
I think I liked Watchmen.
But I liked Watchmen. I love Sucker Punch, flaws and all.
Oh, Sucker Punch? Yeah.
Yes, love me some Sucker Punch. But yeah, I'm just hoping that I enjoyed this one. But like, yeah, visual wise, I'm like, I'm not concerned. Zack Snyder doesn't put out anything that doesn't look aesthetically pleasing.
That is
if
true.
you are fine with the aesthetic.
If you fuck with his aesthetic, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But I do for what he uses it for usually. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, like it looks epic.
Yeah. I saw like a video of essay where somebody was basically like, the problem with Zack is that he's prioritizing moments as opposed to overall substance, which is where you get these really cool shots, but then when you pull back and you look at the movie as a whole, you're like,
That's so weird. I watched that video like a week ago.
Somebody sent me that video. I would say that he like is a really good concept guy. Like I read like people who love Snyder's work, like I read like the things that they write about like Batman versus Superman, and I'm like, man, that is a good idea. I wish I could see that on this film.
yes.
So who knows? Maybe he finally got it. We'll see in 2021.
I doubt it, but I'm gonna see it anyway.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna watch it. We're gonna review it.
Oh, great.
Oh my goodness. Since it's a miniseries,
you're gonna give Colin an aneurysm.
No,
guys,
that's fine.
do you want to review every part? Yeah,
no, I absolutely don't. I'm not doing that. Don't make me do that. I'm not doing that.
How many parts are there going to be?
There are 4.
4.
For the 4-hour experience.
If Colin wants to come in the last one and talk about it overall, but I'm down for all 4 parts, to be honest.
He's going to do like 4-hour-long parts?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just going to be like 2, like breaking it in half.
No. It's a miniseries.
I mean, it was a miniseries that had 2 parts. I assumed he was going to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. No, this is 4 episodes.
All right, that's fine. We'll negotiate with Colin about how we're going to do this later.
All right, the next movie panel that they had was Black Adam, finally.
Dun, 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 dun.
The panel member consisted of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
The ultimate panel member.
It is actually. It was the most entertaining thing ever. The panel started with a voiceover from The Rock explaining the history of Black Adam with some dope animation by Boss Logic and Jim Lee. You guys can check it out on YouTube. It's dope. The Rock says that they are currently early in production, and his main concern is pleasing the fans with this film, which makes sense because I feel like that's what The Rock does with every film.
I trust you, Rock.
He's a people pleaser.
Yes.
He is, and I'm not mad about it. His movies have been really enjoyable.
They're a light in this world. In this dark, dim world.
I don't know how light this movie is going to be, but we'll find out.
We'll see about that.
He answered some fan questions. He says that Black Adam is one of the most powerful in the DC universe, and he doesn't practice restraints with his powers.
Yes.
somebody asked which hero in the DC universe he would want to take on an adventure, and The Rock said Wonder Woman. Because he's always thought that the combo would be cool and powerful, but he also thinks it would be cool to hang out with Superman. However, he's not sure how well Black Adam and Superman would get along.
They would not.
Exactly. Black Adam. So, according to The Rock, Black Adam has been in the works for 10 plus years with his production company.
Yep.
And they are finally getting ready to start, work. The Rock loves that Black Adam is an anti-hero. He's interested in the fact that he started out as someone who is enslaved and comes from an enslaved people, which informs how he, gives out justice and how he operates, which is why he doesn't give any mercy. And then Noah Centineo popped in to talk to The Rock and express his excitement about working on the film. Noah Centineo will be playing Atom Smasher. He talked about his training regimen in quarantine to prep for the role, and he playfully asked if The Rock's ready for him to come for his squat game.
Wow.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Noah also said that Atom Smasher has a lot to prove because his grandfather was a supervillain. He transforms as the movie goes on, and he learns what it means to be a superhero. This will also be Atom Smasher's first mission, and this movie will also introduce us to the Justice Society of America with Atom Smasher, Hawkman, Dr. Fate, and Cyclone. That also has a short little animated video that you guys can check out on YouTube. The Rock ended the panel by asking fans to spread the message to the other heroes of the DC universe. Things will never be the same because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
I'm about it.
I am too.
Me too.
The concept art is really dope.
It was so dope. Like, especially just hearing Dwayne Johnson speak over these images. I was like, this is fantastic. I've been excited for this for like 10 years when they said he was Black Adam.
Hopefully this will. They also released some concept art of him going up against Superman, which I don't think is going to be for this film. I think it's just something that they had made by Boss Logic. But I'm super excited for the day when maybe one day Black Adam will go up against Superman.
It's going to be a fun fight because at this point in the DCEU, they haven't had a reason to discuss his weakness against magic.
That's true.
And that's the thing is whenever he fights Black Adam or, Shazam, if he has to, Superman is weak against magic and they are powered by magic. So he has a tough time.
Yeah,
that's great.
But also, I always remember that picture that The Rock posted of him and Henry Cavill having drinks and just hanging out and just talking about his excitement for being Black Adam and Henry Cavill being Superman. Because I think Danny Garcia, who is The Rock's business partner, is also Henry Cavill's agent or his manager.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's why whenever people are like Henry Cavill's not going to be Superman anymore, I'm like, I don't think his manager, agent person who is literally involved in producing DC movies is going to be like, yeah, that's cool. Especially when Henry Cavill loves playing Superman.
Yeah, Henry Cavill seems like he's willing to play Superman for forever. So like, why would he leave?
Danny Garcia was like, yeah, don't believe what the media is saying. Henry Cavill still has the suit up in his closet. Like,
aw, what a freaking dork.
So
that video of him building a computer it's still hilarious to me.
Nerds are great. It's so interesting to me that Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia are like one of the biggest power couples who are no longer a couple.
Right.
But just like as a team, they're super efficient and just like they are great together.
Sometimes power couples aren't made to be married. They're just made to just rule the world together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like the marriage didn't work out, but you know what? We're a good team. Let's just keep that part of it going.
Yeah. I mean, they produced Shazam, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think they're the producers on Shazam. So, and then they've been working on Black Adam for years. So yeah, that's why I'm like, Henry Cavill is probably going to show up in one of these movies one day.
I'd like that.
They're going to find a way. That concept art of The Rock on the throne as Black Adam.
That was super dope.
Oh my gosh. So cool.
Also, I just have to address, it's weird to me that the Justice Society doesn't have like some of its bigger characters. Because originally it had a version of the Flash and a Green Lantern. And it's just like, we've been waiting for Green Lantern to pop up in these movies forever. Why
Isn't there supposed to be a Green Lantern Corps movie?
Supposedly that was announced years ago. They're also doing a Green Lantern Corps HBO Max TV series.
Kind of weird that we didn't hear anything about that.
They're probably
Either of those.
nowhere with that.
Yeah, but
But
are they
maybe we'll-
anywhere with Black Adam yet? They had a concept teaser.
I mean,
like,
yeah, they've been spending 10 years working on it. They got something. They at least have another cast member.
Right, at least they
They
know
got two.
two people are in it.
There's 2 people in this movie.
That's 2 more than they have for the Green Lantern.
Like, there's nothing for Green Lantern except that I think J.J. Abrams is working on the TV series. I could be wrong.
Also, I just want to say, as Power Girl's #1 fan, that she's also in the Justice Society. So, if we can work that into the movie, I'd be very
I think
excited.
Black Canary has also been a member of the Justice Society. Actually, you know what? I think her mom developed the Justice Society of America.
They have a very deep roster.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Next panel for movies was Aquaman. The panel members were
Aquaman.
Patrick Wilson and director James Wan. This one was really just discussing the process of making the first Aquaman more so than anything else. They talked about how Patrick Wilson heard about the film, which was he heard about it from James while working on The Conjuring 2. And James knew as soon as that he got the directing job that Patrick was going to be his King Orm.
Nice.
James felt like Patrick could take on Jason Momoa. He also said that like they're very different, and he felt that that would add to the Arthur and Orm characters as well as their dynamic, and he tried to write both characters towards each actor.
I'm still not a big fan of that decision, but we can maybe circle back to that. It's like, why didn't you pick someone to play Aquaman's character instead of rewriting Aquaman's character completely to fit
Well,
the actor that you got?
To be fair, James Wan didn't cast him. Zack Snyder did.
Fair.
Yes.
Yeah, he was kind of just, I work with what I got, I guess.
Yep.
Which I don't want to sound like a slight against Jason Momoa. He's great.
He's just not the Aquaman you would prefer.
He's not Aquaman at all. Like, that's not the character. It's not important.
I'm still holding out hope that like as the movies progress, he'll become more and more like Aquaman.
That'd be cool.
That's my hope because I love Aquaman. But Patrick said he wanted to push himself physically to become Orm, but he was not prepped for the wire work that came with it.
Mm.
And he brought up the potential for Orm to return in the next movie. James said that nothing of the underwater world was easy. They discovered with Dolph Lundgren that they didn't need to hang them from wires, but instead they could use like a teeter-totter type of device, and they could just like make them move up and down without having them on wires. And James said that he learned a lot about all of that stuff for the first movie so that they can use it for the second movie. Patrick said that he found the previs to be really helpful with all the blue screen work that they were doing, but he also compared working on a blue screen to acting in a black box theater, and so having to use your imagination a lot to really make things come to life.
Yeah.
James said that he was most excited about doing Aquaman because he loved the idea of sharing a character in a world that had never been done before. And he's really excited to bring back the characters and expand the world as well. And he says that part 2 will be more serious and more relevant to world events, I guess, things that are happening in the world, which I'm cool with.
I am also cool with.
I was pretty relieved when he said that.
Yeah.
Because I like Aquaman. I like that movie. But there are times where I'm just like, I can't take this seriously right now.
I agree.
So I agree with everything you said, except I don't like the movie. But I don't like Aquaman. And there are times when I just can't take it seriously.
I mean, yeah, I can't. Like, I was like, I know I'm supposed to be taking this seriously right now, but I'm kind of not because it's been so goofy so far. And like, I understood, like, his inspiration was like the Flash Gordon series. But so is Star Wars, and Star Wars can at least be taken seriously sometimes. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they decide to do with part 2. Patrick said he's also excited for the new worlds in part 2, and James promises that Orm will be back in the sequel and that Patrick will be excited to do what he has planned for him.
Man, I could not care less about Orm. I've never liked Orm as a character. He's always been boring to me. I've always loved Black Manta, and
yeah,
that's what I'm trying to hear more. Like, where's he at?
And I love Yaya.
Yaya's dope.
Dude.
And can we get a hint about Calderon, Jackson Hyde, whatever you want to call him?
I definitely want a hint at Calder.
Yeah, that's what I need.
That would be so freaking dope.
I agree.
There's just a little preteen running around the world somewhere with water powers and doesn't know it.
Right? Just water bending all over the place.
Yes. All right, the next panel is Shazam. Like, these last 2 panels, like, really, like, Shazam and Aquaman, like, there wasn't much to pull from. But the panel members for Shazam were Zachary Levi, Asher Angel, Jack Dylan Grazer, Faith Herman, and Megan Good. The panel started with just Zachary Levi, who said that there isn't much that he can reveal, and he brought in the rest of the cast so that they could playfully just waste time.
That's adorable.
That's what I would do if I had to do a panel.
Like, they had like a 10-minute panel, and it was just like, well, we can't really say anything. Ha ha ha. So they kind of just made the panel kind of a joke about how they couldn't say anything.
Oh my God, Asher suggests being CGI'd into the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, they were like, let's ask fans what they want us to do for the sequel. And yeah, he suggested that. And then Zachary Levi was like, well, I did my own little like Zach cut of Shazam, which was when David F.
Stop
Sandberg,
it.
who is the director, popped in, and he was like, you recut my movie? Faith Herman, who plays Darla, aka the most adorable character in that movie,
Adorable.
she decided to quote unquote draw a Shazam poster with Sinbad in it, who then popped into the chat to make jokes about the Mandela effect.
Shazam!
I love that so much. That's my favorite thing.
And then towards the end of the panel, Adam Brody also showed up to make fun, and he supposedly was coming from the Kazam 2 panel.
Perfect.
Oh God.
The jokes were
Kazam.
wild and fun. But then
love it.
at the end, Faith Herman revealed her poster, and this time with the title of the sequel for Shazam, which is Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Wow.
That sounds pretty dope.
It does sound pretty dope. We know nothing else about this movie outside of that and the cast.
Demi,
Yes.
were you there when we were at the movie theater and we had that conversation with one of our friends who was 110% certain that Shazam was a genie movie with Sinbad?
That's exactly why Sinbad came into the panel.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know if you were there that day.
I think I was
remember having that discussion, and we literally looked it up for her, and there were articles about the fact that it doesn't exist. We showed it
Yes.
to her, and she was like, "No, I remember it," and I was like, "No, you don't."
It
Maybe she
doesn't
remembered
exist.
the like remember how there was a movie with the genie with that similar name?
It was
Yeah.
Kazam. That's not
Yes,
him.
Shaquille O'Neal.
That's not him.
everybody
Though.
remembers
Sinbad is not in that
Kazam.
movie.
No, I know. I don't know why we all remember Sinbad being in that in a movie where he's a genie. You know what I think it was? Sinbad was in a lot of 90s movies when we were kids, though. Like he was in.
He was,
Like,
but
he
there
was in
wasn't a
First
movie called
Kid, he was
Shazam.
in- No, I know, but I don't know why we all think this.
You guys
So
all just
wild.
made up a movie in your head that does not exist, but you
Collectively
all
But, like,
collectively
hallucinated a
remember it.
movie.
All of us hallucinated this movie.
Yeah, no, but that's why they brought him onto the panel, was to make that exact same joke that we're making right now.
Oh
I
my
love that so
God.
much. That's
it was
amazing.
It was very funny.
I want him to be in the sequel to Shazam. I don't want him to play a genie.
Me too. That would be great. Please. Please, please.
So the final panel of this podcast and of that 8-hour thing, the one that I was most excited about was for
course.
the Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman.
Oh my
Uh,
God. So
The
excited.
panel member for this panel was Matt Reeves, and it was hosted by Aisha Tyler. I'm a fan of Aisha Tyler. Love her. She's great.
Same.
So the day before, actually, Matt Reeves released a Jim Lee drawn logo and poster, which you guys are probably seeing on your screens right now if you're on YouTube.
Yes.
And it is dope. I really enjoy it. It's really great. And then Robert Pattinson started the panel saying that COVID shut down production really, really early on, and that he's really eager for people to see what's in store, even though he can't say much about it. And he teased that there would be something at the end if you stuck around to watch the entire panel. So he then threw it over to Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves talked about how he never imagined doing genre movies because he was really into character-driven movies, but then he discovered that he could do genre films and tell really compelling character stories through those genre films, which I completely agree with. I think that's what we should be doing. It's great.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I would make them better movies.
Yeah, that's all I want out of my genre films. Thank you, Matt Reeves. That's why the Planet of the Apes movies are so good.
They're fire.
They're great. Reeves says that this movie finally clearing up things, because like we were talking about earlier, when the Batman was announced, when Matt Reeves was announced to be directing and Ben Affleck left the project, it was very confusing as to what it was about. People thought it might be a prequel. People didn't know if it was going to be in a different universe. A lot of that was cleared up with this one panel. A lot of people think that this is an origin movie, but it is not. Matt Reeves says that this is about early Batman. This is about Batman in year 2, not year 1.
Interesting.
We'll get to see how Batman becomes the Batman that we all know. So in this movie, being Batman is kind of an experiment to Bruce. Bruce is trying to figure out how he can affect change, but nothing really starts working until the murders start. The movie goes into the corruption of Gotham City, and Bruce is trying to figure out where his parents fit into all of that.
And he has
Sounds
like
like him.
super emo hair.
Oh God, the hair.
We'll bring that back later.
The hair.
Matt Reeves says that this is going to be a version of the Riddler that no one has ever seen. He also said that
Yes.
he's excited for Zoe Kravitz's Selena Kyle. It's a new version of Selena Kyle, but it still has those iconic Catwoman traits. Selena at this point is not Catwoman yet. Oswald is not the Kingpin penguin that we know yet, and the Riddler is just emerging. This film is not really an origin movie for Batman, but it is an origin movie for his rogues gallery.
All right, sounds cool.
Reeves also called Jeffrey Wright one of the great actors of our time. I agree with him.
He is not wrong.
He's right, and he should say it, and he did say it. And then he also touched upon the Gotham City Police Department television show that they're coming up with, which is going to delve deeper into this version of Gotham's corruption. So it'll go back, it'll be a prequel, and it'll go back to year one, which is the year when Batman first appeared. And they'll watch how those things happened through the eyes of a corrupt cop working in Gotham. And it'll explore new characters and new places within this world.
Sounds dope.
Yeah, I'm excited. And then after that, he answered some fan questions. Somebody asked about if stars were able to give some input for their costume design, which he said they were. He said that Rob played an important part in his bat suit because he has to wear it and he has to fight in it. And it needed to look like it was a work in progress that was made by Bruce. But also Robert Pattinson got advice from Christian Bale that he needed to be able to go to the bathroom in it. So I think he
Good
also
advice.
worked that into it. The history and the look of Gotham is very important to this film, and he wanted it to feel like a US city that we've never seen before.
That's good.
Where did it? And they were filming in London.
They were filming in London. Yeah, I
Got
think he
it.
said they were filming like in Liverpool.
Oh, interesting.
Somebody asked how the citizens are reacting to Batman in this version, and he said that the citizens think he's a bit dangerous and they're afraid of him because it's only year 2 and he's a growing legend. So Bruce has to deal with that perception of Batman and who he is.
Yeah, so he's a bit dangerous and scary.
Yeah.
Dude, did you see him punching that dude? I was like, ooh, this man is unhinged.
Matt Reeves praised Rob's work over the last 6 years. He says that Robert Pattinson is a chameleon and he is also a passionate fan of Batman just like he is.
What?
He said
Really?
that Pattinson not only looks like Batman, but he has the soul of a Batman that you've never seen before.
Emo boy.
Yeah, that's Batman. Reeves has had a production designer on board ever since he was writing the script. So somebody was asking about the sets for the Batcave and stuff like that. So a set was built for the Batcave. The Batmobile and the Batsuit took a really long time to design, starting from when they were writing. So I think he said it took about a year for them to get those two down and made. And then Reeves said he's also super excited not to do an origin and just to see him in the midst of the experiment and watch him fail and grow as Batman. He also really wanted to include the fact that Batman in comics is the world's greatest detective. So it plays a huge part in this story. And he hopes that's what's going to make this film different from any other iteration of Batman that we've seen before.
I like that.
That's always why I've been excited about this film. He says that Bruce has to confront the shadow side of himself. There's a lot of psychological exploration, and he mentioned something about getting inspiration from Darwin Cook's ego. And then he also said that the films that heavily inspired this film were Chinatown, French Connection, Taxi Driver, and a lot of 70s street grounded stories. There was a moment where he talked about the different versions of Batman and he praised all of their iterations. And he also admitted that only 25% of the movie has been shot.
Holy moly.
But despite only 25 to 30% of this movie being shot, they still managed to put together a trailer for fans to watch. And oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There is so much.
How long is this movie going to be?
If you think about it, a film is just the initial cut, you've got a bunch of film that you have to sort through. It's going to be hours and hours of footage. But the fact that they put together such a good trailer with only 25%.
Exactly. I was like, what?
And I don't even know what part of the movie these are even going to be coming from, because you shoot films out of order most of the
Yep,
time. So like,
exactly.
who knows what any of this is? But it's amazing.
Also, Rob looks great in that bat suit.
Oh
Like
my
when he
gosh.
stepped out, like when Jim Gordon was like, "Do you know anything about this?" and he steps out, and I was like, "Yeah." Also, I love that they gave us like a full like light on him when we first see that suit, because often the first time you see Batman, he's like coming out of a shadow, and I'm like, "Well, great, I can't see anything," but no, it's like, here it is. This is what he looks like. Loved it.
I gasped so loudly when he stepped out in the bat suit.
Same.
It
Same.
looks so good.
And I was watching it at work, and my coworkers were like, "Can you calm down?" And I was like, "I told you I'm a nerd." Like,
Can you calm down?
Can you calm down? His bat, like literally in my notes, I have batsuit fully capitalized.
yes,
You do have that.
Just his batsuit
with
looks
an
and like,
exclamation point.
oh yeah. Well, we had the wardrobe footage, the test footage, and like that was cool. It like from the start, I was like, this looks like it's going to be a really cool batsuit. But to see him actually in it on screen, like moving in it, like it's a dope suit.
And lit perfectly, you know, in the scene. Oh, it's beautiful, amazing. Can't wait to see Rob in this movie, even though that hair, I really,
Oh my god!
I really want to address it.
I really like the
I
hair,
want to
though.
comb it. I want to jump through the screen and be like, "No, honey bunny."
Well,
no.
Notice how when I sent you that photo, I said, "Batsy, let me comb your hair, please."
Yes.
Like, I like the hair, not because like I like the hair. Like, no, I like what it says about the character.
I understand that perspective, but also, what are they doing?
I
don't like it.
I can't do it. I can't get with it.
I can't, like, there's other ways to show without. Oh god, it's just not good.
I like it. I like this. Really, I don't care about my appearance. I'm really just like grasping at straws in this current moment.
I want Cosmopolis.
I don't, because he's not that Bruce Wayne yet. No, you got it right. It's Cosmopolis.
I get, Bruce Wayne being emotional, emo, all that.
But he also has to run a company. Like,
I can get it without the 3 days Grace has hair.
Yeah, right? Like, we could have had a disheveled shirt, or like, maybe just deeper under eye like bags, but like not.
You can't see those bags if he's got the raccoon eyes going.
It's true. But just have him acting. Like, his performance will portray everything we need. I don't need the My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, just hit as hard as you can.
Why did we get Bucky Barnes?
I'm okay with that, man.
I'm okay not. With that. It worked for Bucky, but that's it.
It's also the first time that we've ever actually gotten to see the raccoon eyes on any of the Batman.
That's fair.
So I was curious about that, because I remember, but then I realized that I'm remembering Nicolas Cage in Kick-Ass does it.
Yeah,
but
just Nick
Batman
Cage.
doesn't. And it's just like, how does the fake Batman know to do this before any of the Batman that we've seen on screen before?
Well, no, the Batman on screen that we've seen before, they have the raccoon eyes, but when they take off the suit, they magically disappear.
Exactly. What Denise saying.
So like, Christian Bale has it, but you don't see him. Like,
we never see him take the helmet off. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. You always see it under the cowl, but you never see it once the cowl is off.
Yeah.
But Robert Pattinson said you see it under the cowl and you see it without the cowl.
He looks
That makes
so crisp and clean in that. I mean, I understand what it's saying about the character. It's like he's really only cares about who he is when he's wearing the suit, at least right now in his life, right? But I want him to clean up the hair. I hope they clown him enough that they glow it when they reshoot. When they start shooting again, they're like, okay, we'll get the hair under control.
I mean, a trilogy.
Everyone's talking about that.
A trilogy is planned, so his hair isn't going to stay this way always.
We don't know that, though.
At least I don't think it is. But also, okay, yeah. So Batman suit, dope. Batman's combat, sickening.
Terrifying, which just perfectly adds to the lore.
I don't know about that. Like, the way that they shot that scene looks dope. Like, his movements and everything, as far as like a choreography standpoint, looks super dope. But man, rein it in a little bit. Like, this is low-level goon number 4. Like, you're not fighting the Joker or Ra's al Ghul right now, bro. You don't need to turn his face into a pizza for approaching you. Like, disarm him and go.
This is unhinged Batman, man.
Yeah,
this
and
is
we're still trying to
Batman.
figure it out.
Yeah, we also don't even know if this Batman kills. I'm hoping that he
looking like he does.
Right, like this gives me the feel of like
Captain America,
Thomas Wayne. This is like Flashpoint or like Dark Knight Returns. Like, Batman just doesn't care anymore, and he's gonna break your arm for buying an eighth of weed. Like, this isn't the kind of.
Kicking people while they're down.
It's just so much. It's just so much.
I really like it though. I'm feeling this whole unhinged Batman thing that they've got going because it's really early on. I don't expect him to be like Batman because that Batman knows how to have self-restraint and how to have self-control. Right. He's a master of strategy and stuff like this. But this is early Batman. He don't know nothing about that yet.
It's just, man, it's so much. It's so much.
But also like the fight scene between him and Catwoman that they've got in the trailer, which is mostly just Catwoman fighting, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about those interactions. I hope they're like heavy with sexual tension.
I'm so ready. Ready for Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz to just mess up my entire world, and that's okay.
Oh, same.
Just ruin my life right now.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, Demi, if you want to listen to a long-form interview with her, like an hour and a half of her just talking about her life, she was interviewed by Dax Shepard, and they like get into her whole life. It's great.
I might be down for that. I like the way that they did her Catwoman look so far, because that's not her final Catwoman look, obviously.
Yeah, I like it though. I dig it. It works. And the little ears, so cute.
This is just cat burglar Catwoman.
Yes.
I don't like it yet, but I like it for what it is. Like you said, like that's not her. She's not Catwoman yet. So it's like I get that. It kind of reminds me of when Spider-Man first makes his like homemade costume.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then later he's gonna get his actual. I'm like, okay, cool. For that, this is fine.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing what her like next Catwoman suit is gonna look like.
I'm ready for the evolution. It's gonna be dope. The Riddler seems creepy as hell.
He does.
Oh yeah, but Paul Dano is really like the king
creepy.
Of doing that. He's really good at that, and he's an amazing actor. I'm really, really looking forward to this iteration of.
Yeah, a lot of people think he's gonna really like this Riddler is gonna be like the equivalent of like Heath Ledger's Joker.
And I'm really hoping that I'm getting like what's the serial killer?
Zodiac.
I'm getting Zodiac vibes. Yeah.
Oh, the actual serial killer.
Yeah, like real serial killer.
You know she likes true crime, Dallas.
That's true. She is a fan of serial killers in real life, not fiction.
I'm not a fan of serial killer.
But also his riddles in rhyming in this
and like
trailer.
The pictograph or like the cipher that it appears to be.
Yeah, the little code.
Which is very, very Zodiac. You know?
Yeah. Colin was saying that Riddler is a vibe. Which is a choice.
For real is.
Riddler could be a vibe. I don't think this Riddler is gonna be a vibe.
No, because I feel like the normal Riddler we're used to is very like campy, and
he's not gonna be Jim Carrey Riddler.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Like, that's what I want. I'm sorry, your whole shtick is that you have riddles. You're not supposed to be dark and serious. You do fucking riddles. Like, come on.
But if you compare him to like real life people that have used riddles, they're usually more like this Riddler. Like,
yeah, because they're freaking killers.
Yeah, or like dark ass, like, you know, the Unabomber. All those people like are more along the lines of this guy. If you're going with real life.
Yeah, and then we have Colin Farrell as the Penguin, who I did not recognize at all.
No. Right? Me either. I still can't see it.
I thought that was Richard Kind.
Dude,
that's who we look like.
I thought it was Jonah Hill, because remember they were talking about how Jonah Hill was in talks, and I was like, oh wow, they made Jonah look way different.
No,
and then which was even worse, or not worse, but like wild. Like whoever did the makeup for that deserves an Oscar.
I kind of don't believe
give them the Oscar now.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right. I don't believe it.
That they're lying, and that's not Colin Farrell.
That's how I feel. Is how like. And here's the thing. It's like, remember when Gary Oldman, like you mentioned Gary Oldman in as Churchill? As soon as somebody told me that's who was under there, I could see it. But I still can't see where Colin Farrell is under there.
People are like comparing the ears and the eyes because that's the only thing you can spot.
No, I can't see him even in that. And it's
like
wild.
They changed his nose. They changed everything.
It's maybe they put like a whole mask on him. I don't know, but it
was easier to recognize Donald Glover as Teddy Perkins.
Yes.
Than it is to recognize Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
That is a reference.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. And then of course Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
I'm like down.
I still wish he was playing Lucius Fox just because that's who I fan casted him as. But I do think he's gonna be a dope Gordon.
I mean, I kind of had him as Gordon. I cut him out right before we did that fan cast, but I had him as Gordon for a time there. So I'm happy because, dude, my fan cast on this film was just I'm man. I fan casted Zoe Kravitz for this film. Come on.
It's true.
Right? You
I
were
was-
like on it.
Yeah, I fan casted Zoe Kravitz and I fan casted Asa Gonzalez and Ana de Armas, who also had screen tests for this film. Like, I was on it for this casting.
It's true. Also, maybe we can get a black Batgirl.
I mean, yeah, I think at this point you kind of have to, unless she's a.
Tossing
I mean, if
on
they use her, they
Tinder.
might just not use her. But if they do, Black Barbara, like a Lego
sure.
Batman, kind of.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I'm so excited because this movie is actually turning out to be exactly what I wanted it to be from the moment that Matt Reeves started talking about it like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
The moment he said he wanted to do a detective Batman film, I was like, I'm completely on board for this film. And then just the casting started rolling out, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. And then you see this trailer, which I was like, the footage on this is going to be dope. But
Yes.
this still like blew out of the
Yes.
water anything that I could have imagined. I didn't even think they were going to show footage because I knew they weren't done filming.
Yep, I agree with everything you've just said.
This might be one of the best Batman films that's ever been made. Like it potentially. Like if it holds up to what this trailer was, it'll be amazing.
Same. I'm trying to curtail my excitement a little bit, but
It's
yeah,
hard.
I'm excited, especially when you've seen Matt Reeves's like record with genre films. Like, he did such a great job with Planet of the Apes. Like,
Yeah.
I can't see him fucking this up.
It's really hard for me to like hold back like my excitement for this film. Like, it literally, depending on how the rest of this year goes, might be my most anticipated film of next year.
We'll see.
We shall see. But yeah, that's everything.
We did it.
We did do it. We went through like the entirety of what we took notes for DC FanDome because there were so many other panels, and I watched every single one of them.
Yeah, it was 8 hours. We didn't have time to cover all that.
Yeah, right? Like, it took us an hour and a half to cover that.
Thank you, audience, for listening to that hour and a half. Let us know what you think of DC FanDome, what got you most excited. Also, let us know if you remember Sinbad playing a genie named Shazam, because too many of us do, and it's very strange. Thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon, and Io for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Demi, thank you for editing, putting us on YouTube, taking such detailed notes, watching 8 hours of content when I know you didn't plan to. Thank you, Colin, for your zingers and holding it down for the furries during the Wonder Woman segment.
That's what you can count on me for.
Yeah, Gabby, thanks you for that as well, even though she won't admit it.
Stop that.
Gabby, thank you for trying to explain the collective hallucination of the Sinbad movie that doesn't exist. If you guys out there on the internet want to geek out with us about DC stuff, you can find us on the medias, on Twitter, y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr, Creative Differences Podcast, and Facebook, Creative Differences. You can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at A King Named Simba. Talk to me about Milestone, Tara Strong, Power Girl, whatever.
Hi, you can find me, Gabby, on the Instagrams at Stegotoria.
You can find me on Twitter at Duck McGuck.
And you guys can find me at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI on Twitter or Instagram. Thanks again for listening.
It's been different.
Bye.